Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Dream Printing Podcast. I'm your host, Polly Payne. I am a planner designer, CEO, founder of Horacio Printing, creator of the Dream Planner, and I am your go-to girl to help you figure out how to get your idea out of your head into your hands and learn how to sell it. I want to make your dream a reality. And on today's episode, this is a heart-to-heart for anyone out there who has had a dream stirring in their soul for a planner or a journal or a devotional, and you don't know how to get it out of your head and into your hands. I'm going to take you through some of the process that I take my print school students through, and hopefully this journey just helps you get over that mental block and also gives you really actionable steps, because I'm not about fluffy, vague content. I really want this to be actionable steps for you to start taking the next step and get you closer to your dream. So let's do that. Before we dive into today's episode on getting your idea out of your head and into your hands, I have a quiz that I made for you. If you have been interested in joining Print School, which is my 2-year signature program where I help people really flush out their idea, get it printed, learn how to sell it, learn how to launch it. It has Print School and Launch School built into it, and I've had hundreds of students go through this program to create their beautiful paper product. I'll hear some of my students here. I'm so proud of each and every one of them. Some of them end up doing Kickstarters to help them fund their print, but they have brought their dreams to life. All sorts of different dreams, from recipe books to cancer warrior planners to mompreneur planners to ADHD planners to devotionals, Bible studies, journals, notepads, cards. We have somebody now making puzzles, like all sorts of neat paper product things. And if you're wondering, is this right for me? Am I ready for print school? Does this make sense? Based on where you are in your journey. Maybe you've already started design. Maybe you have no idea what you want to make yet. If you're wondering, is this the right next step for me? I have a quiz for you. Very quick 2-minute quiz that will help you get clarity. And that quiz is at horacioprinting.com/take the quiz. Take the quiz. It takes 2 minutes. I'd love to know what you land on. And if you have any questions, you can ask there. I also have an Instagram account for Print School where I highlight a lot of my students' content and their stories and also give tips and tricks. And it's a great place for us to connect one-on-one if you want to chat at this Instagram account. So come hang out, come follow, and of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel where I'm putting out videos every single week teaching you how to print your thing. So let's dive into today's episode, specifically how to get your idea out of your head and into your hands. And this might be some tough love today. I'm all about tough love though, because that's really how we grow. Honesty. Let's be honest here. One of the biggest things that's going to hold us back is ourselves. So often the cap on our actions and our dreams, the biggest thing that holds us back is ourselves. It just is. And so we have different mental blocks that we go through for any type of dream. Maybe you want to apply to a different program at school, or you want to start a business, or you want to move to a new city, or you want to launch the company. Whatever it is, big dreams, we have mental blocks. One of my favorite books that I highly recommend, my spiritual director gave me, I don't know if I have a copy nearby, but I'll tell you what the book is. It's called The Dream Giver. And it's such a great book, and it really helps you process through mental blocks. So if you that's definitely me. I'm going through mental blocks like fear of failure, the fear of judgment. I'm struggling with perfectionism, imposter syndrome. These are all things that are absolutely normal. Everyone goes through these things. And it's not so much of do you get to get a get out of jail free card. It's how well are you able to bounce back after dealing with it? That's what's going to separate someone that continues to keep going. You have to learn how to break through that. And here's the thing, you can't escape it. No matter what path you take in life, you're going to come up with fear of failure. You're going to come up against a fear of judgment. You're going to come up against imposter syndrome. It's going to happen unless you're Martha Stewart, which apparently she's never had imposter syndrome. I don't know if you saw her in an interview where it was have you ever had imposter syndrome? And she was like, no. And I'm I kind of believe that, because everything she puts her hand at literally is She does it perfectly. Like she folds it perfectly. She cooks it perfectly. Anyway, she doesn't deal with it, but we all do. We deal with imposter syndrome, perfectionism. We want things to be amazing because we look at it as a reflection of ourself and our self-worth. And I think that's probably the biggest issue with trying something new. We have a fear of failure because we feel like if we fail, we are a failure, when that's not true at all. If we fail, we are human. If we fail, we are normal. That's how we learn. I will say disappointment is one of the greatest teachers, and it's not a fun teacher. I don't really like that teacher, but I sure have learned a lot from disappointment. I've also learned a lot from things failing. If you look at failure, or maybe something not going as well as expected, as a data point versus a definitive reflection of my self-worth and my self-value, it allows you to rise above and make less emotionally charged decisions. It is important when starting a business that you make data-driven decisions. Sometimes you will make gut decisions, or God will say, make this. This is what you're supposed to make. And like, you should follow that as soon as you have those instincts. But so often what I create and what I do as a business is very data driven. When I order my next season of planners, it's going to be based off of a survey where I ask people, what do you want? Because if you want a business to be successful, it really takes three things. Ask people what they want, create what they want, give the people what they want. Woo! I don't know why I have balloons, but here we are. So I've had a lot of mental blocks starting out. One of my first mental blocks in the Horacio Printing journey was, and I've carried this table, this concept of myself for a long time, and that concept is I'm not smart enough. And it largely, I'm not going to give you a whole spiel on it, but it largely comes back to my childhood of not being good at math and spelling and things like that. And when I first started Horacio Printing, and I made my first planner back in 2014, I spelled my company name wrong. I spelled Horatio wrong. I lived on Horatio Street in New York, and I spelled it wrong when I filled out my paperwork to get my LLC. And when I got the paperwork, I was so excited, like, oh my gosh, let me go down to Horatio Street with the street sign and take a picture. And when I did that, I realized I had spelled it wrong. And it was that voice of judgment came in, my own voice of judgment, not anyone else's. And it was, this voice telling me, see, like, you can't even spell your name right. Like, how are you going to run this business? I've had so many other times where I doubted myself. I doubted my worth. I doubted my abilities. And I had to keep learning how to step over those and keep stepping forward. Sorry, I'm going in a lot of directions, but I am really heated about this. What happens in life is as things stretch you beyond your capacity, you grow. You have this like circle right now. This is you. And you have what you're capable of inside this circle. So if, life throws you an arrow and it hits inside the circle, you're like, oh, I know how to deal with that. I've done that before. But what happens is you have this circle and then something lands outside the circle and you're like, oh my gosh, I've never dealt with this before. I don't know what to do. So what happens is you grow. Your circle of what you can handle grows. Your capacity of what you can handle grows. And entrepreneurship, the journey of that grows you tremendously. And I think that's why it's such a cool thing to do. You have to have the curiosity to learn. Entrepreneurship is not for people looking to take a permanent vacation, because it's work and it takes research, education, and a desire to grow, because it's going to grow you whether you like it or not. I just want to share with you that, the fear of failure, when we fail, it's a teaching moment, and there's a way to redirect that. And for me, I stay really grounded in my faith and my value, that my value comes from my Father in heaven, not from this business. So I stay somewhat detached in that way. Fear of judgment also rears its ugly head. And that's a day-by-day process, and it's a day-by-day journey. But we have to get more focused on who we're helping than what people are going to say. That's how we get out of our head. We have to keep our eyes focused on not the circumstances or the what ifs, but who we're here to help, the impact we're looking to make with our products and services. Perfectionism is a lie. There's no such thing. So that just kind of has to be given up on, but it is important and very important in my book to strive for excellence. I want paper snob worthy products. That is the bar, and we must reach that bar. So I just want to remind you that if God gave you this idea and this dream, He didn't do it to mock you. He didn't do it to break your heart. It's an assignment. And so I want to encourage you to accept that assignment and to move forward. So that's the first thing. When we're getting our idea out of our head and into our hands, we have to get over the mental blocks there. And the mental blocks will come back. It's not a one and done thing, unfortunately. But that book that I mentioned before, I think that's a great tool to put in your tool belt as you're going on this journey. The second thing that we're going to do when it comes to the process of getting your idea out of your head and into your hands is the ideation stage. Doing ideation is really your first big step forward. And I've talked a lot about this on this channel. One of the first things we do in the ideation phase, if you've watched any of those videos on the dream printing method, is really creating that clarity statement. And for those of you that already know this, I'm going to review it again. Here is the clarity statement. It's made up of what, the who, and the how. So what do I want to create? Who is it for? And how does it help them? What do I want to create? Who is it for? And how does it help them? These are these guiding questions that helps you create a statement of full clarity. And if you are someone who has 100 different dreams because you want to make 100 different things in your paper business one day or in your business in general, that's okay. Let's just focus on the first one. And if you don't know what you want to make first, I have a really great prompt for you. I want you to close your eyes. Okay, close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And I want you to think, let's imagine all of a sudden the doorbell rings at your house. Ding dong. Okay, picture your front door. There's a delivery man leaving a box on your front stoop. You run outside, you pick up the box, you tear open into it, you get your scissors, you're ripping into the box, you're so excited, there's bubble wrap inside and paper. You finally open it up. What is the product in the box that you would be so excited to hold first? Let yourself kind of mentally open this product. Let your hands pull back the tissue paper. Close your eyes. Look inside. What is it that you really want to create? What does it look like? Who is it for? Visualize that. That's a great tool to use to help you choose which one you want to focus on first. Ideally, it's what people want, right? So we want to make sure it's something people want, and we can use some data points to help confirm that through a survey. So that's the first thing we're doing here in this journey, is going through ideation and creating a clarity statement. Clarity is so important to have before you jump to the next step, which is designing and creating your prototype. If we skip this ideation step, it's so easy to get lost. One of the things I love to do is to really sketch out the concept in a notebook or a notepad and really build out what is the journey I'm taking that user through. In Print School, we go through ideation in a very formulaic process. We dream, and then we work on our sketches. Then we create an index file, which helps you have a skeleton of page by page, what page goes with what page. Because when you have a product, there's a left side and a right side. And if you're listening to this podcast, you might want to jump over to YouTube so you can actually see what I'm showing here. We have a left side and a right side. And so we want to make sure that when we are designing and creating, we know what's on this side and what's on that side, and they go together. Things don't get wonky, and the left side's where the right side should be, etc. Also, by creating that skeleton index file, you're able to see how many pages is this product. Because the last thing I want you to do is take all this time designing a 900-page product only to find out That is not going to happen. It is not feasible to have a 900-page product. People don't want to carry around 10-pound planners. It's just not a thing. So you learn the limitations. That helps you be more creative in your process. And also you're not wasting time designing or paying a designer to design a 900-page product that makes no sense in the first place. So that's the step 2. Okay, so just to recap, step 1 was really focusing on what is my mental block here. And I encourage you to journal and process through that. What is my mental block? Maybe you want to pray through it. Maybe you want to pick up that book that I recommended, The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. Fantastic book. The second step is ideation. That's where you grab your notebook. If you want to do this ideation journey with me, you can actually join Print School. You can get more information right here at horacioprinting.com/print school. You can apply to join and we can actually go through this process together in a group. So ideation's important. We just went through it, but it's so important to take your time in ideation and dream about the journey you want to take people through, how you want to help them. Get so clear on your why so that that can carry you through the rest of the pregnancy of your product. So, because we want to go full term. The third step of getting your idea out of your head and into your hands is creating your prototype and going from prototype to print ready files. What's a prototype? It's basically a page-by-page document of a rough draft of your product, which that's really the goal of ideation, is you start to sketch it out and then you put it either in a PowerPoint, a physical mock-up, digital layout, like using Canva. And maybe you've already played around with Canva and built some sort of Frankenstein design product that you're like, I kind of already have something in Canva. I think I'm halfway there. You probably are already on your way to a prototype, but it is important to go back and really sit with that ideation and the journey you're taking someone on, because without really doing the ideation and having that skeleton of what you want to create, you get so lost in the squirrely whirly trying to create something. And what happens when things get difficult? We abandon them. And that's okay. If you've abandoned a Canva file, you're not alone. So here's some tips to help you in that creative process. Block time to design, to really work on your prototype. Have a separate document for all the words that go into your product. We call this our master copy sheet. I take students through this process. So we have our index file, we've got our prototype of the rough draft sketching design, and then we have all the words in a document. We put all those together in the prototype, and from there, that's really where, with that prototype, we go from prototype to print-ready files. With print-ready files, some people ask, what does that mean? It really just means a PDF, but it has to be exported in a way that works for the printer. And also it needs to be formatted in a way that looks excellent. For example, you really want to make sure you have the right bleeds. You want to make sure you have enough margin around the edges of the page so that when it gets coil bound, it's not going to be, the words that you have printed on your page aren't going to be cut off by the coil or too close to the coil. So it's all about formatting for print. We have a bonus course inside of Print School that teaches you how to design, either using InDesign or Canva. You get to choose. It's taught by one of our preferred partners. We brought her in to teach this course. She also teaches the elements of design: balance, white space, structure, contrast, really just understanding, like a quick little course in design and like the concepts of it and what makes good design good design. So often we'll look at something and go, oh, I like that. I don't know why, but I like it. Or sometimes we look at something with, I don't like it. I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't like it. This helps you get more language and understanding of why some things are better on the eye and some things are not. And we really want to make things that are beautiful. Your product isn't going to impact someone if it's ugly. I mean, it's not going to inspire someone to live their best life or have a breath of fresh air or to journal their dreams if it's not beautiful. And so we want to make sure that we're designing something that makes the impact it was meant to make. And that's what beautiful design does. So you can choose to learn from her in our course and become a print designer yourself, or you can hire her or any of our other preferred partners we have in the program. And once you get your designs designed and edited, you're now ready to move on to step 4, which is sample printing. So we go through the mental blockers, we go through ideation, we go through creating our prototype and creating print-ready files, and now we're ready for the final step, step 4, and this is really where you get your product in your hands. So you're gonna work with one of our preferred printers and get a sample printed. Why do samples matter? Why do we get a sample? Well, we want to check the quality. We want to check the layout. We want to make sure it feels right before we do a mass order. I also typically, in the process of designing and editing and all of that, I typically will print something out at Staples as well to make sure that it's, it looks good and just the editing process. So that's another step in the journey. But when you want to get your preferred, legit sample done, I usually order this from my printers overseas. And this is really one of the most special moments where the pregnancy kind of ends and you actually are holding your dream design baby in your hands. It really is an incredible moment. We've had so many students get to this milestone. And then from having your sample in your hands, we take them through the process of launching it, selling it, creating the website, building the email marketing, building a Kickstarter campaign to raise the funds to print their order. It really is just a beautiful moment. And Print School helps you with sourcing, with proofing, with really guiding you through that journey every step of the way. So I would love to invite you into Print School. You can do your application right here at horacioprinting.com/print school. And I would love to just share this quick story from one of our students.
Hi, my name is Ambra. I'm the founder of Alexander Stationery and the creator of the Paradigm Shift Planner. I learned about Print School and Polly and Horacio Printing through an Instagram ad where I felt like she was speaking directly to me. And that told me a few things. One, she knows how to do her marketing because that ad felt personal. And two, that she had walked the walk and I trusted that she would be able to teach what she knows. My planner is not just a product. I truly feel like it's a piece of my heart. Growing up, my life was chaotic. Trauma, drug abuse, poverty, homelessness. These were things that I couldn't escape or control. They were my reality. But the one thing that I could control, my mind. And that's where journaling came in. Journaling became my escape, a way for me to imagine and daydream about a different future. Later in life, planning became my tool of choice. I used planners not just to map out my day, but to map out my big, audacious goals, things that seemed impossible at the time. I used planners to figure out how to graduate, how to earn scholarships, how to travel the world. I essentially used planners to map out the life that I'm literally living today. That's why I created the Paradigm Shift Planner. It's not just about planning for your goals. It's about shifting your entire mindset so that no matter what life throws at you, no matter how chaotic it gets, you have the power to plan your way out, to take back control of your life and to live life with purpose. If my story resonates with you and you have a product in your heart based on your own life experience that you know someone in the world needs, then I cannot recommend Print School enough. My product exists because of my experience and because of my background and my story, but it also exists because I joined Print School. I decided that that was the path that I wanted to take because it would be a shortcut to me being able to realize my dreams and accomplish my goals. So again, thank you for your support. Thank you for being here, and I hope to see you in Print School.
We are so proud of every single one of our alumni. You can check out more of their stories here at horacioprinting.com/alumni. We would love to welcome you in and share your story as well. And it begins by saying yes, by stepping over the mental blocks that you're facing and begin with ideation. Don't get so caught up on what's the final step of the staircase. Just take the next step. That's how things get done. That's how people do things. They take the next step. And that's what I encourage you to do. But to take that next step when it's right for you. The timing might not be right, and that's totally fine. Print School stores are always open, and we're always taking new applications each month. So I hope this has blessed you. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.